So, something I've been thinking a lot about lately is attention and focus, um, specifically in regards to reading, because the two are kind of linked. When I think of people who have problem focusing and attending to things, myself included, I think it's often because they are looking at each point of focus as an isolated incident as opposed to um, like a process or something that's joined to the next event, making up their day, their week, their month, and their life essentially. Because as we do more and more things online, as things become more and more complex and complicated, our role in that becomes more and more confusing. Um, you know, kind of each and every day we're made aware of how big the world is and how much is going wrong in the world, that it's very tough to focus on what's going right unless you actively do so. So, for instance, if you think of like attention deficit disorder or something like that, people say, "Oh, I'm so ADD, I can't focus. I'm doing one thing," and then I say, "Oh, well, I got to do something else." It's because it's not even that you can't focus or attend, but it's you're hyper focused on one thing and then move into like a hyper focus on the next thing without really any link between the two things. And it's that missing link that you interpret as, "Oh, well, I can't focus." So, really, the best way to work on attending to things and on focusing is working out that narrative in your life of what connects things instead of fragmenting things and always breaking things down to study them and know them. It's kind of submitting to the mystery of life and getting into flow state. Flow state really helps with anxiety too, because you're not so controlled over everything. You're not trying to be perfect and be on point with everything you do. You're just you're acknowledging the fact that you're in the game, you're in the flow of life, and that to some degree you have confidence, you know the rules, you know enough of what's going on that you can actively participate in things. So, in regards to reading, to kind of connect like how to focus better, how to be more attentive to your reading, to a task that's, a project, reading a nice novel can be like 8 hours to 16 hours, sometimes even more than that. Basically, instead of saying, "I'm going to read this for entertainment or because I want to read this so that I have the appearance of being a reader or because, oh, well, reading is something I should be doing," instead say, "Okay, well, what is this book about? What do I think it's about?" Reflect on that a little bit and say, "Okay, well, how do I want to use that in my life? What do I think this book will do for me by the end of reading this?" Okay, think about that some more. And while you have these questions, I think that's enough where you can start reading the book at this point. But when you read, let's say, a chapter or so, put the book down, say, "Okay, well, here's where I think the book is going. Here's what I like about it. Here's what I don't like about it." And then reflect on it a little bit more and say, "Has this changed where I think the book is taking me? Can I expand what I think this book will add to the narrative of my life even more?" Because I think that that's one of the best things about reading, and especially reading good books, is that they add color to your life. If there's great characters, if there's a great setting, if there's a good message and theme to the book, it's enriching your life. It's taking the experience of another person, because when you write a book, that's years of your life, especially if you write it at the age of 50, you're putting your life's wisdom into that, so that it's this compressed work of art, of wisdom. And it's a lot to take in if you don't appreciate it. So I think embracing the mystery of life and of the things we participate in is a great way to maintain focus on them. It's almost kind of contradictory. I don't want to sound too like abstract or weird with this stuff because like it can sound contradictory if you think about, well, if you're focused on something, what's the mystery? It seems like mystery is tied into not maintaining focus, but not quite. Focusing on the mystery essentially is it's kind of more of an internal thing. So rather than looking left and right, always trying to make sense of the external world, it's finding an inner sense of equilibrium and maintaining confidence that what you are participating in is something that you find security in and adventure in. So I think finding that balance of security and adventure is what's really needed to maintain focus because you have a direction to go. You feel confident that you can embark on the journey, but it's also exciting because you don't really know where it's going to go. And I think finding that balance is important to maintaining focus and just um, hopefully easing some of the anxiety that comes with life too.